Welcome to Eye on the Illini live postgame from number 9 Illinois conquering number 5 Nebraska. Folks, we have a new sheriff in town in the Big Ten. Illinois atop the Big Ten, tied with Michigan. Illinois just had a stellar second half, and I'll tell you, that was an exciting game to see. Brad, before we started here, you were talking about what Illinois did in the second half. Talk about what you saw out there that made them pull away.
Well, I mean, they did a much better job of, making the right guys shoot for Nebraska. In the first half, they allowed their shooters to get shots. And you look at, whether it was Frager or Sanford, the two great three-point shooters in the first half, those guys combine, they go 4 for 7 each. In the second half, Sanford only gets 2 threes off, and Frager goes 2 for 5 because they were a little tougher. And so you made them, you're never going to shoot 11 for 20 consistently, but Nebraska goes 11-20 first half, 4 for 15 in the second half. And then what Illinois did was, by leaving some of those other guys open a little bit, they could leave a big in the middle, and so they could defend the rim. And so what we saw in the second half was Illinois had 3 block shots of guys, coming down the lane, getting the basket. I think Tommy, Jake had a block shot. Hummer had a block shot. Really, really, really impressive performance by the Illini in the second half.
The second half was right. We talked about at halftime about making some adjustments. I thought Illinois made some adjustments, and let's be honest, fellas, it's easy to make adjustments when you got another number 23 out there who's not wearing red and black, but he's wearing orange and blue. That kid was special in the second half, I thought which we all said it. We said coming in the second half, he had to be different. And they had to make some plays, and they did that, guys. And this was a big win. No matter how you look at it, this was one of the bigger wins because now you eliminate the loss that you had at home. They put themselves in position to do really, really well in the Big Ten. You're going to get the help of some other people because, let's face it, Illinois plays Michigan State again, and Michigan plays Michigan again. Now you put yourself in position, and I'm just really curious, and I know I don't want to jump the gun, what the national people will have to say, where Illinois will end up in the polls this week. If Keaton Waggler, we'll know he'll win Big Ten Freshman of the Week, if he'll win anything more nationally. This is just a good win, and it's easy, like I said, when you got a guy out there who's composed. And how about the bounce back? I mean, the first half he was kind of nonchalant, but then he adjusted to the physical play of the second half by Nebraska, and they got the win. This was big, and I was wrong, Brad. I was wrong.
We all have those moments, Ken. It's okay. The other thing when you talk about the adjustments, he learns so much. Have you ever seen a player who just figures stuff out like he does? I mean, he literally figures out the what the defense is doing, what they're trying to do, and I'm sure he has support from the coaching staff. Don't get me wrong, but even when they change mid-play or mid-game without any from the bench, he knows how to make the right read and so forth. The other thing Illinois did, rather than attack where the traps were, they did a much better job of getting the ball to the nail, and they get the ball into the nail in the center of the lane, and then you're basically playing 3-on-2 at that point because of the way they're defending you, and you've got a guy there. And to have guys who can pass like Merck and Tommy. By the way, how about the tip pass from Thomas Slavicevic?
That was amazing.
That was one of the great plays. I mean, that should be on every highlight reel. It's fantastic. But when you have bigs that can pass like that, it's really effective. And I got to give a shout-out because he didn't have a very good game. Andrei Stojakovic had 4 assists. Do you realize what that is? That's a career high. That ties his career high for assists in a game, and it is his season high. We always talk about he doesn't pass. Today, he finally figured out that he's going to score off of cuts against Nebraska, and he's got to give the ball up when he dribbles. So, kudos to him, and he did a great job on Sanford in the second half. They all did.
Well, Brad, you won't know with us at halftime, but Mike did make a comment that he did have 3 assists at halftime, and because I was critical of his offense, I was saying that they need him to step up, and he did. He made free throws, he had a nice cut, he had a nice N1. So, but the 3 assists, he had 3 in the first half, which was huge. This was a good team overall effort. They stepped up the second half, and I tell you what. We have to give Cam Crocker some credit on defense. This team looks totally different, you guys.
Yeah, it also proves the importance of practice. And I know people like to laugh about practice.
We talking about practice, man.
But the bottom line is you wonder how good this team would be, as good as they are right now. How good would this team be if Tomislav hadn't gotten, tweaked the knee and had tonsillectomy, and Petro had been here earlier and hadn't got a hamstring? You can see that the coaching and the connectedness of the team is so much better. Let's talk a little bit about the stats, just so we can kind of let people know, for those who are who were maybe in the car or something like that. But Illinois had quite a game here. If you take a look, Merkovich, 10 points on 4 for 10 shooting, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and at least 1 foul that drove Coach Underwood mad, maybe more. Stojakovic with 8 points, 2 for 7 from the field, but 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds and 4 assists. Tomislav with 12 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, including the incredible tip assist. Jake Davis, 13 points, 3 rebounds. Waggler, who had 5 at the half, and we all thought that, hey, we know he's going to come back, ends up with 28 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Humrickhouse, unfortunately, was 0 for 6 with 3 boards and an assist. Really nice block, though.
I thought he played good defensively. That's really his thing right now.
Yep. And Big Z, 7 points with 7 boards and 1 assist. So
and 2
you're
blocks.
seeing – yeah, and 2 blocks, yep. And you're seeing a team that Illinois outshot Nebraska 44-42, but they held Nebraska, a point that Brad Underwood's talked about in past seasons, but in the second half held Nebraska to under 40% shooting. So that 39%, that's tough to do against a team like Nebraska. Illinois ends up 30% from the 3. Nebraska ends up 43%. Illinois 81 from the free throw line, 80 for Nebraska. Nebraska's in the same area Illinois used to be in, where if they don't get into the lane, they don't shoot free throws. They did not shoot very many today because they were shooting from outside. The team's tied at 8 turnovers. Points off the turnover was 11-9 for Nebraska. Illinois held a 13 rebound advantage, 40-27, and had an 11-6 advantage on offensive boards, 10-8 on second chance points. Bench points, Nebraska won that battle 24-7. Points in the paint, Illinois 28-18. Fast break points, 8-3 for Nebraska. Blocks, 6 for the Illini when they're playing with what Brad calls the biggest lineup in the history of the Illinois program. 2 for Nebraska. 3 steals compared to 5 for Nebraska. 17 assists for Nebraska, 15 for Illinois. The game was tied 6 times. The lead change was 9 of them. Illinois was in the lead for 20 minutes and 11 seconds, outscored Nebraska 45-30 on the road in the second half to, I don't say, it was kind of a cruise to a victory. Am I going overboard with that, Brad?
No, not at all. They did. I don't know. I think right now they won that pretty handily. Once they got the lead, they just steadily pulled away. Nebraska was frustrated, and I think they're the best team in the Big Ten. And I say that saying that I think Michigan's really good. I think all year I've said Michigan's the best team in the Big Ten. But when you compare the games, if Frager doesn't play in that game, I think Illinois probably wins by 20. Literally. And he didn't play against Michigan, and they had to win at home. So I don't know. You can't compare game, but man, I just think right now the way they're playing, obviously winning 11 in a row is a big part of what they've done. But they have confidence. They're getting different guys every game, stepping up. Whether it's making shots, defending, rebounding, whatever it is, and they're doing it without Kylan Boswell, which is really kind of crazy when you think about it, because Boswell is kind of the leader of this group. And so This is really impressive what they've done. Obviously, Ked mentioned it earlier. They do have, and I think it's legit that they have the best player on the court almost every game they play. I mean, and the most impactful guy too, because he's a guy with the ball in his hands. There may be guys that get drafted ahead of him, but right now he's the best player in the Big Ten, and he's playing as well as anyone in the country.
He is. And he's, Brad, well said, my friend. He's playing as good as anybody in the conference. The thing with him, we can all talk about the baby face, the poker face. I just tell you, when they get a lead, I'm really confident that kid's going to make the right play. He will either score, get fouled, or make a pass for another teammate. He does a tremendous job of just seeing the floor in game. I'm just excited for you. Get another great week of all the national media guys putting up guys who are in the top 5 freshmen and leaving him off. But you know what? 28 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on the road against one of the top 5 teams in the country, maybe top 10, because Nebraska's not going to fall far because they are a good team and they're competing for the Big Ten title. But overall, I have to admit, today they probably are the best team in the Big Ten. And why? Look at their road wins. Their road wins that they have and how many games they won in the row. Nobody else has done that yet. So you have to say they're clearly the best team in the Big Ten to date, based off the fact that they've won 11 in a row. And I'm really, really curious to see how this race is going to pan out down the stretch, because like we mentioned last week and this week, fellas, there's a lot of big games on the docket, and not just Illinois. So when Illinois fans are looking at the 1 loss and 10 wins, these other teams are going to be playing against each other. Nebraska will have to play, I believe, Michigan State or Michigan again. And, Illinois and Michigan State are going to have to play. Michigan and Michigan State are going to be playing each other. So, and then Michigan comes to Champaign. This is going to be interesting. Why these games matter right now? Because you're winning on the road. You went to Purdue and Nebraska, and I think this is the first time I think they said that Brad Underwood or Illinois is beating 2 top 5 teams or 2 top 10 teams in the country on the road ever.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to go. The back-to-back top 5 victories on the road. So people who say, well, Brad Underwood can't win the game against the ranked teams, I think if you look back, his record would argue a bit with that. But this is dramatic stuff.
Mike, they have the second most top 10 wins since 2019. Only Kansas has more. Kansas has 17, and Illinois now has 15, tied with, I think it's Baylor.
Yep, I saw that stat.
Yeah, and just to go real quick on plus minus, because I know some folks like to hear that. Tomislav led the way at 10. You had Keaton and Ben at 9. Then you had at 6 Big Z and Jake Davis, and then at 3 Stojakovic, and 2 was Merkovich. So the interesting thing is I've also had the chance to pull the new KenPom rankings, and Illinois is now number 5. Not all the games played today are figured into there, but they moved up to number 5, and so you're seeing that Illinois is matching up well. They now only team in the Big Ten that they follow is Michigan, who is currently ranked number 1. But I do think with that game coming up, Michigan State coming up, what a fun time to be a Big Ten fan, and what a great time to be an Illini fan.
Yeah, you know what's crazy about that, the plus minus. You mentioned the plus minus. Jake Davis was minus 11 in the first half and finished plus 6. So he was plus 17 in the second half. That's pretty impressive. That means you're on the right time. So, this is I thought defensively, you mentioned, I think Ked mentioned Cam Crocker. And it's got to be some of his influence, because they certainly didn't do this stuff before.
They did not, Brad.
Changing the defense, going zone and different zones. Now, did they in the zone? They gave up some threes, right? I know they did, but even out of a timeout, they're playing zone. They came out and they trapped. Now they got it. Nebraska scored against it, but it made them a little uncomfortable and made it harder on them. Defensively, sometimes they switched depending on situations. They dropped coverage. They fought through. They did all these things. Nebraska runs so many like ghost screens and backdoor cuts and all these things. It makes it really hard. They're hard to guard. And so I would like to see, I just like to see that they're doing different things defensively and they're adjusting to what's there. And And the second half, what they did was they said, look, if we're going to lose this game, it's going to be that Barachtel, Fred Hoiberg, Jacobson. Those dudes are going to beat us. We're going to turn off the water on Sanford and Frager, and we're going to make those other guys beat us, especially Sanford. They said we can't let him go. And I thought, that was huge. And it just shows the adjustments that maybe that they're making. And it's even since, the first time they played Nebraska, since that time, they are the number one in the country in analytics. They're now in a top 25 team in the defensive ratings, and obviously they're number one on offense. So really impressive. And you saw Keaton Waggler hasn't been great defensively this year, but this game he had 2 big steals.
Yes, he did.
And deflections, and had a couple deflections too. So he did a great job with those. So that's really nice to see. Clearly he is just becoming a complete player. And man, I'm really excited to see how he closes out this season.
I agree with you. I think at some point in time, I think maybe they're not asking him to do a lot defensively because he spends so much time on offense, even though I think he's a complete player. But let's give credit to 3 guys. All the coaches matter, but we're just talking X's and O's because Orlando and Jeff don't say a lot publicly. They're not in charge of offensive defense. But I got to give Coach Underwood credit. If I were to give Coach Underwood a credit today, this is me. He's getting an A-. He would have got an A+ at the end of the game. And I told you guys, I would have had one of the big fellas in at the end of the game because they started attacking the basket as soon as they saw one of the Ibise's boys out. But where I'm going with this is Coach has made some really, really good adjustments. And I'm not, falling in love or getting married to Cam Crockett or Tyler Underwood, but they've changed the trajectory of this team and how they look. Brad, we talked about it at halftime. The matchup zone I thought worked really well, but you saw the same thing we did. Coach Underwood got really frustrated with Stojakovic. He kept missing assignments. And I saw Cam get kind of, real demonstrative on the sideline because it was working for them. It slowed down their offense because you're right. Nebraska's a tough team to guard. As soon as you think there's a cutter coming, they check out for a 3 for Hoiberg or Sanford. And it's tough to guard. I mean, and they did a really, really good job defensively. Even I think they had 14 or 15 threes. Kudos, because they've always done that. But defensively, Sanford didn't get off and score 28 in the first half like he did last time. I thought they did a really good job on him as well.
Yeah, I think that was the difference to me between the first half and second half is most of the threes were contested in the second half. The first half, you had guys getting away and getting, the step-in 3, and I think that was tough. We're hearing here from Fedigator that Waggler is the first D1 player in 20 years to have multiple 25-point games versus AP top 5 teams. So that's impressive. I'm going to assume he's giving us good information, so we're going to trust him on that. And I think as we look at Waggler, I can't help but think he hasn't went through that total transformation yet from, having Fletch. How good can he be? I mean, seriously, how good is he going to be when he starts looking like a man, like Io looks like Terrence Shannon looks like? Holy cow. I mean, when you can think he can probably, improve his strength and quickness quite a bit. Sky's the limit for him, Brad.
Do you want us to answer it, or do you want ESPN or CBS to answer it? Because Brad and I are going to give you a different answer than you're going to get from them.
Well, ESPN is going to go and show the SEC game. So
I'm sorry.
They won't even talk about it. So you can do it, kid.
No, Bradley, I'm deferring to you, my friend.
No, I think he could be amazing. I mean, he's already amazing, right? But the only thing he lacks right now is guys look at him and say, I'm going to bully him. I'm going to body him and hope they don't call fouls. Well, if he was, 15 pounds heavier, you can't do that. And he becomes virtually unguardable. And it's funny. We say he's unguardable. It's not like he's so athletic that he can't.
That's my point.
It's amazing. Like, I mean, you don't have to be the greatest athlete in the world to be really, really good at basketball. Obviously, we see the best players in the world being Jokic and Doncic and etc. You can be just really good at basketball. And you know what I like about him now? Early in the season, he wasn't shooting the three. If you recall, he wasn't taking those shots. And now he's comfortable. He's like, whatever. If I'm open, I'm within about 28 feet. If he's open, it's going up.
Yeah,
you know why, guys?
Teammates will make him do it.
But you know why? Early on, you had Kylan Boswell and Andre, and they were all making shots. And Z, he was deferring. I mean, he really was. Now
and
they're not.
You know who made him not defer?
Who's that?
Their shots.
Kylan Boswell. Boswell.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Kylan Boswell was like, hey, give him the ball. This dude's that good. Give him the ball. I mean, they know. And I think a lot of people, and people are saying, well, he won't be able to do this he's going to fall apart in March. And I don't know. I don't see that. I just see a kid who's getting better all the time at picking his spots. And, it's just they've done some things with him offensively where he doesn't have to bring the ball up. They let Merck bring it up so he can just kind of go down. And then he'll get the ball later in the shot clock and go play. But he's just a player. So
here's the funny thing, Brad.
Yeah.
He could go 6 in the draft. And 10 years from now, if he progresses, people may be like, how the heck did he only go 6? I mean, he's got that potential.
He's so crafty. Here's what he does. He baits people into following him. If you notice, when he gets the ball, he sweeps it, and he sweeps into the defender where they have to call a foul, which I really, really like. That's one of the veteran moves that you see from a guy. You don't see a lot of older guys make that mistake. And the fact, he was shooting 84% from the free throw line, except for the last game. I know he struggled. But what a nice weapon to have, a guy that's smart with the ball who's just not going to turn it over and put the ball in harm's way.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible what we're seeing out of him. The other thing I think we don't talk about enough.
Can I address this quote over here about the insistence on playing Bum Rick House at Western Illinois? Do they not understand where he came from? Like, he was like really good at a higher league than Western Illinois. So sometimes we say things that don't make sense. And
Coach Underwood was only an assistant at Western Illinois, and he managed to be the head coach of Illinois.
Until he wasn't, right? The weird part about this is, like, I actually thought Ben played one of his best games this game, except for the fact he didn't make any shots.
Yeah.
He didn't make any shots. I mean, he was active, tipping balls, keeping alive. That's what he has to do. And he only played 19 minutes. I mean, it wasn't like he played a ton of minutes. I think it was good. That's where they actually want him to play 15, 20 minutes. Max. I mean, that's what they think he should be in that 15 minutes.
And he can play defense at a high level for that time frame.
He can. He really does a great job. He's so active and he's versatile defensively and offensively, though. Like, offensive rebounding does matter. And he's 8 of 14 over the last 3 games from 3. And then he's 0 for 6 today, so now he's 8 of 20. That's still 40%. Like, that's really good. I mean, Sanford's 41%. I just want him to make, like, I wish he was more consistent. He's so streaky, like 4 for 6 last game and 0 for 6 this game. If he'd have been 2 for 6 this game, they win by 15. I mean, because those late threes. I mean, if he makes some of those open ones, it's a totally different game. And it's not even. I guess it wasn't close anyway, but it would have been better. He's just got to make some open shots. Shoot 2 for 6 last game and 2 for 6 this game, and they probably win both of them. But yeah, it's just little things.
Hey, let's take off our Illini hats and let me ask you both. If you were to pick the Big Ten player of the year right now, who is your pick?
It's not even close. It's Keaton Waggler. He's the Big Ten player of the year. Now, harder thing is picking your 5 first-teamers. Waggler, Jeremy Fears, Braden Smith, and Yaxel Lindebord. Those are my 4 that are easy. Then the 5th one, how do you not –
Sanford. I'm going.
It's got to be Sanford. I agree, because you got to have somebody from Nebraska. I think you got to Nebraska. So Sanford. So I think those are my 5. And actually, we were talking about.
Leroy has boiled it down to Keaton getting all 5 selections on the first team.
Well, here's the thing. I if I could vote for him 5 times, I would right now. But no, I think those are the 5 guys. I think Waggler's a Big Ten player of the year and freshman of the year. I think Merkovich is on the all-freshman team, probably on, like, I think he still probably makes 3rd team All-Big Ten, maybe, at least honorable mention. I don't know. It's hard. There's so many. You have 18 teams. Nick Martinelli's leading the conference in scoring. He may not make an all-conference team because they're so ass. You know what I mean? I mean, Northwestern, although, Illinois got to play them one more time. I shouldn't say that till after that game. But, it's so weird when you look at that. Like, I mean, there's 18 teams now. How do you pick? You got to pick 5 guys first team, 5 guys second teams, 5 guys third team.
I want them to change the rule with that. That's tough. When you had 10 teams, 12 teams, it was easy, fellas.
Yep.
But when you have 18 teams, I mean, let's be honest. Even like a guy. Huh?
I take 10 and 10. 10
So
first
what?
team, 10 second team. No, don't have a third team. 10 first, 10 second. Honorable mention. I think that would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, because you have a guy like Bennett at Iowa. That kid's having a monster year, and he's going to get left off. Yes, he really is. I mean,
Maurice Johnson won the game against Michigan State the other night. He was one of the keys to them winning that game down the stretch, and he could be a first teamer. I mean, same with Merkovich. I mean, I don't know.
But then all the old timers are going to say, "Well, when I was younger, only 5 guys."
Well, we're not spring chickens, but the Big Ten has got 18 teams now, so we can say the same thing because it's different.
Yeah,
there's no more days where.
Oh, when you had 10 teams, that's fine, whatever. 10 teams, but now you got 18 teams. There ought to be at least 20 people on those all-conference teams.
I know people are probably asking why my eyes are going left and right in yours, Brad, but Illinois women.
You're watching the women's game. Yeah, I know.
So, I know. I'm sorry. So,
they just went up by 6. CC for 3.
Did it go in? That a girl?
Yep, the Illini gal. Yep. Illini gal.
Well, she's good, isn't she? Fresh.
25 back-to-back days, folks, over 25 points. When they get Manuela back, she's going to give them a different look, too. Mm-hmm. This is a really, really good team.
Yeah, they're going to be good. They're so young.
Yeah, you just got to keep them together and not get picked apart in the portal. That's the scariest thing. As we look, by the way, did anybody think that Merkovich with that one foul in the lane was going to give Coach Underwood an aneurysm?
At least one, maybe multiple. He would have been in. I think he was almost in the hospital with Jaxtus. Getting a so I don't know.
Here's a comment for people who don't drive off the road when you hear this. I thought there was a play in the second half, late in the game, where they called a foul on Nebraska. But Keaton was shooting a free throw. That was a bad call. They never touched him. So I'm admitting on the other side, ladies and gentlemen, that it goes both ways. But if I'm a Nebraska fan, I was hot. Now, there were a couple other ones after that. That's great. But I think the officials knew they were fouling or trying to foul. Or I think maybe Fred was telling them to go for the steal, then foul. But that was a bad call.
When he was in, were you talking about when he was in the trap there?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That wasn't a foul. The thing was, he still had the ball, so I don't know what would have happened, but I don't know. But you're definitely, that wasn't a foul. But that's where officials guess they're going to foul, and so they start looking for fouls because they're human, and they don't want anything crazy to happen.
Hey man, what's Boozilla talking about, baby? I don't know what he's talking about. I have amnesia. What are you talking about? You can't prove I said they were going to lose.
Ked already said, "Hey, I was wrong, so it's okay. We're all wrong."
Man. I'm wrong. I'm glad to be wrong.
If people followed if you follow my predictions, you would be wealthy. All you need to do is listen to the Illini guys, Sports Spectacular, and then take the opposite of what I pick. Brad might be a billionaire now if he had started that 5 years ago.
Oh man, radio picks, man! I wish I'd have done that. I'd have a lot more money than I have.
I am the epitome of George on Seinfeld when he decided to do the opposite and he made it and he was like perfect. Anyway, looking, I guess too at this, we've got now, let's turn our eyes forward. Illinois plays Wednesday night at home against Northwestern, and then the massive one Saturday 7:00 against Michigan State.
Yeah,
is Northwestern a trap game, Brad? It's a home game.
No, because it's Northwestern, so there's going to be a lot of, and they know they lost to them last year, and they know what it was like when they played up there. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think it's a trap game. I think, I'll be honest with you. I went into this the 3 road games at Purdue, at Nebraska, and at Michigan State. And I said, if they win one of those games, That's awesome. Well, now they got 2. So this is house money at Michigan State. I just don't want them to break Waggler's nose or trip somebody because Michigan State, I mean, they're a team of, and here's the thing. It is what it is. I don't know that it's intentional. It's just the way they teach them to be physical and attack people when they go downhill. And he just sends in a big guy.
That trip did look bad, man. That
the
trip,
the
really
Fierce
bad.
trip the other day was lucky the guy didn't get Martin.
He's getting away with stuff. He's shoving people in the back. And
on that rebound. They won the Rutgers game because he literally shoved a guy in the back and nobody called it.
I know, yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. That's my only concern with Michigan State is that they get away with beating up.
Izzo's taught that stuff for 30 years. It is what it is.
But Illinois is going to have to overcome is the crying
by
Izzo. I mean, because they know that. But the stat that we got, I'm looking at it. Keaton Waggler's first Division I player in over the last 20 years to have multiple 25-point games in a row wins against top 5 teams. That's impressive, fellas. It really is. So that is official.
Yeah.
That
no,
was...
here's my concern right now. You got 3 of the next 4 at home. You got to win those 3 home games.
Yeah.
Like that's the way I look at it. Before you go on that road trip, you win those 3 home games, and then the Michigan State game is gravy. I mean, I'm not crazy thinking they're going to go 19-1 or something in the Big Ten, and maybe they will. Maybe they'll close like that 03-04 team did, where they go on a run in the Big Ten tournament or Big Ten and win the last 10, whatever, 12 in a row or whatever. Maybe that'll happen. But I think they just you can win 3 home games coming up. The road game's gravy at Michigan State before you go on that road game out there. And then down the stretch, I mean, Maryland's terrible. Oregon's terrible. And then they got the Michigan game. I mean, they have a great chance to go 17-3 in the Big Ten, 16-4.
And you said 17 wins was going to do. I mean, you called that. I remember you saying that because you thought if they got 17 wins that it was definitely possible.
Yeah, if they get 17 wins, I think they're going to be at least in a share for the Big Ten title. And you're getting a 1 seed because you're in the best conference in college basketball, and you got 5 teams out of the top 12 or 13 or whatever it is going to be next week, and you win it, you're getting 1 seed, and you get a 1 seed now they're locked in to St. Louis, potentially. I guess Michigan could be there over them, but probably getting St. Louis and Chicago heading to Indy maybe. How about that? I
like to see them get a 1 seed. I'm really curious if they can get a 1 seed.
They're a 2 right now. I think Illinois is a 2 seed right now.
Without a doubt.
Right
I agree with you. I mean, right now, a lot of people have Michigan as a 1 seed. I wonder if they'll overtake Michigan and get that.
Beat them head to head. You beat Michigan and Michigan State, and you've beaten all those teams head to head in the only time you played them. I mean, and then even if you lose one out I think that going out and winning both games in California will be tough.
I do too.
Because those teams aren't, and you're traveling across the country. I know it's not going east. And then, and I guess coming back home then for the Michigan game, what I like about that is they literally have almost a week between UCLA and Michigan. And so they get a little bit of a break before that. So when you're coming back to the east, they always say that's tough coming back. But, I don't know. If they continue to play this well offensively and defensively and execute at this level, they're going to have a great chance. They're now first in the conference in offense, 8th in defense efficiency. That's pretty good. And they're when you look at in conference play only, they are literally they're pretty good. I mean, they're pretty good.
Am I crazy to? I was not sold on Nebraska the first time they play them. I actually am a little more sold on them this time than I was after the first one.
I thought they were impressive the first game. Sanford got off, but they came into Champaign and they ran their offense. But Illinois didn't play defense the way they're playing now. They're a much different team, and Hoiberg said that same thing.
Yeah. I just think that's good. So let's go towards kind of a little bit of a wrap here. We kind of went through the game. Looks like we've got things going pretty well for the Illini. Next game up is Northwestern, and next Wednesday at 8 p.m. And then it's a home game. And then they travel next Saturday, 7 p.m. They will be at Michigan State. So in the interim, you can always become a member of IlliniGuys.com. All you need to do is go to IlliniGuys.com, hit the registration, 27 cents a day, $99 a year, and you get access to everything behind the paywall, including the message boards where you can talk to Ked, Brad, Larry, Matt, myself, Steve Sturm directly. You don't have to like, why did he say this or what did he mean by that? And you also have the game room, which probably was pretty feisty going into the halftime. I think Brad was forced to be the guy who had to go into the game room, and he was like the Christians going into the Lions at the Coliseum. And then we've also, of course, you've got all the things that you see on the cover, et cetera. You can get that with no paywall. Love to have you there. And of course, the more people we get on the Illini Guys YouTube page, the better it is. You can also subscribe to these podcasts audibly. Go to Apple or any of your podcast distribution places. Eye on the Illini is there. And we would love to have more people be a part of it. That is a big key to us. And of course, you can listen to the Illini Guys Sports Spectacular across the state. Go to IlliniGuys.com, hit the radio button, and see the station and the day on Friday or Saturday and the time that it's on. Ked, give them your part of the wrap-up, and then we'll go to Brad, and we will let people get on with a fantastic Sunday with the Illini winning over Nebraska 78-69 in what turned out to be a remarkably calm and cool cruise.
Well, I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong that they won. I was trying to say that to psych myself up so if they lost, I wouldn't cry like a little puppy or one of my cats. But big win on the road. You have to take care of the Northwestern at home. I really don't see them being a trap game. They know what's at stake. They may not play well, but they're going to come out. They're going to play hard. They're not overlooking anybody. Great road win. I'm going to enjoy the next few days because from a media standpoint, the publicity that they're getting from Keaton Waggler to the team, I'm enjoying all that. And let's face it, this team is good. It is what it is, and we can try to overanalyze it. They're good.
Best
Brad?
team of the Underwood era, kid?
I can't say that. I'm really sorry because they got to the final eight, guys. I'm not going to say that because this team could lose in the first round of the tournament. Remember what that team did with Iron Kofi? It's possible.
I know. I'm just asking. It's just a question.
Oh yeah, and it's possible that they could be, but offensively, it's a more well-rounded team. I'll definitely say that than when they had Terrence Shannon and the booty ball warrior and Marcus Domask.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's they're pretty definitely it's been an impressive stretch. I think it's gonna be interesting how they bounce back, handling success. That's one thing this team's done better than maybe other Illinois teams is handle success, because that's the hardest thing. You get all the hype. I mean, obviously Keaton Waggler doesn't seem to bother him because he just handles success. I mean,
nothing bothers him.
Right. I mean, it's just insane. He scores 46. He comes back, ho hum, I'll just do this. Oh, ho hum, I'll just do that. I mean, just whatever. He just does what he does. But so I gotta say that, they've handled it well. They just got to continue showing up day in, day out and win the games that are in front of them. So I think it's going to be very, like you say, it's going to be very interesting to see how this season plays out. The other thing, I'm going to throw a little tidbit out here.
Okay.
I'll give you an idea. I'm not going to go too in detail, but when we're watching it, who's coming back, who's leaving, you're going to have a pretty good idea. The guys that they have coming in, the two guards, Lucas Murillo and Ethan Brown, have been playing extremely, extremely well right now, and they are really going to be good, both guys, for different reasons. But both guys are going to be really, really good. Watch the college coaching carousel, because every player, every coach that gets fired means that every player on that roster is fair game to leave. And all of their recruits who've signed their letter of intent is available to leave. So watch that coaching carousel to see, and there will be options that will pop up coming up after those coaches get fired. And Illinois is going to be right in the mix with some of these guys. And so it's, yeah.
So, Brad, that leads me to one question.
Mm-hmm.
You're in football, if you're an offensive coordinator and you've got the best offense in the history of college football, there's going to be people who are looking at you in today's game to lead a team. How long before Tyler Underwood and the performance of this offense makes him a target for a head coaching job? And I'm not talking about a penny ante head coaching job. I'm talking about a coaching job that you can attract talent to. And you know that if he gets talent, his teams are going to score.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. He's so young, but he's such a good basketball mind when it comes to the offensive side of the basketball court. I mean, he's just fantastic. He really understands. He's modern. He's analytics based. He knows, the efficiency model is just fantastic. I don't know. It's going to be hard to see anybody younger taking. I mean, like him going someplace else. I do think there is a situation where he stays here another, 5. 10 years, whatever. Brad, I don't know when Brad's planning on hanging him up. I think if they win a national title, Brad might be out the door the next day. Who knows? But because he wants to win one really badly, and that's kind of that's a goal. But maybe he'll try and win 2 then. I don't know. But that's obviously a possibility. By the way, on the coaching carousel, did you see the big hire today? Shocked me. Anybody see the hire today?
I did not.
University of UMKC hired Mark Turgeon.
Wow.
So Mark Turgeon, who was at Maryland, he's been at Wichita State. I mean, just all over, right? And he's a great basketball coach. They got it. UMKC is like basically a D2 program playing D1,
basically.
And they don't have much NIL, don't have stuff, but yeah, they've to hire Mark Turgeon. That's really wild. That's gonna give them some legitimacy, and you might see them get a few more things. So yeah, I don't know. So there's my tidbit. Just keep an eye on those things.
Yeah, that's kind of a big one because you're talking about what an advantage for the kids playing there to get that type of coaching. That is going to be huge. So folks, we will be back. Like I said, we will be back, of course, Wednesday night. We also may have a pod coming up on the Aaron Henry situation. Give us some time to take a look at that, but we may indulge ourselves and do a little bit of rumor mongering and talk about who we're hearing and things like that. It comes down to what information we have and what time we have, et cetera. But we certainly will bring up the information we have on Wednesday night. Of course, if you wanted it right away, that would be subscribe to IlliniGuys.com. And then that's where everything goes onto our message boards first. And so people there are never surprised by anything we say here other than maybe the quality of my picks. And that's not even surprising anymore either. So we will be really, really looking forward to things. I don't think anything happens to Orlando. I think Orlando's good. So we don't have to worry about that. We will see what names appear to replace Aaron Henry, but we certainly wish him all the luck in the world with Notre Dame. We never want Notre Dame to win, but we do want Aaron Henry to do well. So as long as Notre Dame's DBs play well and they lose, I'm a happy guy. So until next time, folks, go Illini.